Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. I hope you guys are having a good day. And I thought I would come in real quick and talk to you guys about what's going on with the economy. One of the big questions I've been hearing this question a lot, is whether or not there's going to be another round of stimulus checks coming through. Is the government going to do anything else to provide economic relief? And this is something I've been thinking about, and I hope that they do. I think that it's a matter of figuring out the way to move the economy forward. So I've been doing a lot of research. I follow the financial markets every single day. And one of the things that I have observed is that right now you have a tug of war. A lot of you have done very, very well. If you are a stock market investor, in fact, all my investors, raise your hands, throw your hands up, because I'm really proud of you, because you're doing something that's going to really benefit your family in ways that you can't even imagine. And so all my Black investors and all my non-Black investors who like to follow the channel, that's so cool. I'm so proud of you. I think you're going to be glad you did this. Pat yourselves on the back, because you represent Black excellence in terms of building for the future. And I know that that's great. So anyway, let me move into this. With the stimulus checks right now, I was asked by some students recently whether or not I think they're going to do another stimulus. I think that they are. Now, the first stimulus, I've got some data on the first stimulus that was sent out. According to CNBC, the stimulus people that were eligible were people that made under $75,000 a year or under $150,000 as a couple. It phased out to $99,000 for individuals and $198,000 for married couples. Also, in terms of the number of people who got stimulus checks the first round, 159 million Americans received the stimulus checks, which totaled about $267 billion. 120 million of these checks were sent by direct deposit, 35 million by check, and 4 million were made in the form of a prepaid debit card, according to the IRS. What else is going on with the stimulus? Two professors at Columbia University, R.A. Farrakania, I don't know who that is, and Michael Pagel, found that individuals who received stimulus checks spent an average of a third of the checks right off the bat on things like necessities like food and rent, and they put the rest in their accounts. They also recommend paying down high interest debt and kicking off your emergency fund with the goal of having enough cash stashed to cover at least 3 months of expenses. I agree with that. I think that right now, because there's so much uncertainty, I highly recommend thinking very, very deeply about what economic security means. Financial security is important at a time like this, because there's so much uncertainty. Nobody knows what the hell's going to happen, what the government's going to do. So you're dealing with, kind of bad leadership, a lot of infighting, in addition to the fact that nobody knows exactly where things are going to go with this virus. I don't think they're going to shut down the economy with the virus. It would have to be, maybe 1 million people would have to die, like not catch it, but die before they shut the economy down. And even if 1 million people died, that's still 1/3 of 1%. So 99.7% of our economy, or 99.7% of our population, would still be alive, having to figure out how to pay the bills, right? So at the end of the day, security is important. I like the idea of paying off your high interest debt. In fact, I think paying off high interest debt is better than actually getting started investing, even though I think just a slow accumulation of shares of stock is just a winning strategy. That's been one that's worked for a long time. Just slow accumulation, nice and easy. The same amount of money you spend on fast food, maybe take that same amount and put it into the market every single week, you're paying child support or something, right? So pay child support for your future, right? Because you're going to give birth to possibilities in your life if you make smart decisions, but you could create a nightmare if you don't prepare for the future. So do me a favor, if you're watching the Black Financial Channel, please take a second, hit the thumbs up button right now. Everybody, please hit the thumbs up button, and also put hashtag B1 in the chat to let me know that you're Black first. We are B1 over here. Hashtag B1 means that you are Black before you're anything else. So you can be whatever you want. You can be Democrat, Republican, you could be liberal, conservative, you could be gay, straight, you could be feminist or not feminist, you could be Christian or Jewish, but you have to be Black first. That's one thing that we would like for you to do, is be Black first, so that we can figure out how to move forward as a community. So let me dig deeper into this and tell you guys, as far as the stimulus goes, they're talking about another stimulus possibly coming. Congress is fighting over it, and it's a big one. They're really talking about actually doing bigger checks of up to $6,000 per family, $2,400 per married couple, and $1,200 per dependent for up to 3 children. So $1,200 for each child, $2,400 They said 2,400 per married couple. So I don't know what that means. 2,400 for the couple or 2,400 per person in the couple. I think it's per couple. So that doesn't change from the previous. But the upper limit of 6,000 per family, I think that goes up a little bit. I think the big challenge, the big question is whether or not this act, which is called the HEROES Act, is going to get passed, because basically the Democrats are like, yeah, let's make it rain. Let's write these checks. Let's stimulate the economy. The Republicans are saying, we got to get people back to work. Like, the companies are struggling because now the unemployment's so good that people want to stay home. I'm not here to tell you what you should think or feel one way or the other. I'm not telling you how you should feel about any of that, but I can definitely say that you have competing interests on that front. I think that it's a complex issue, right? Because you're trying to figure out, like, okay, we're getting record numbers of new cases of this virus. Why is that, right? And so when politics and partisanship gets thrown into the equation, the Democrats are saying we're getting more new cases because we should shut down, and the economy needs to be shut down because we shouldn't have businesses running because of, right? But then, you hear the conservatives saying, no, the number of new cases is rising because we're testing more people, so we're going to get more positive results, and also right? You're going to have an increase. It's like if I wanted everyone to be safe and not have a car crash, I could say everybody stay in the house, nobody drive a car, right? That would instantly bring the number of car wrecks down to zero or close to zero, right? But if I open up and I say, okay, we can start driving now, just drive safely, wear your seatbelt, stay in the, don't go get in the passing lane, everybody drive the speed limit. Well, still, you're going to have crashes. It's still going to happen, right? So the question ultimately becomes, what's the acceptable number of deaths, right? And you can't say zero because that's not realistic, because people die every day all the time, no matter what. But obviously if you let it go overboard, like I was talking to my doctor the other day, and my doctor said, the problem is that even if the vast majority, he agreed with me. He said the overwhelming majority of the people that catch the virus survive. The overwhelming majority, especially those who are under the age of 65, most of them live. He said, but the problem is that you can overwhelm the healthcare system. He said, for example, if 100 million people broke their leg tomorrow, a leg break is easy to treat. He said, but if you had 100 million people, 100 million patients that all broke their leg, then they would overwhelm the system. So I think that's the factor they're trying to figure out, is whether it's going to overwhelm the system. I don't think that they're trying to figure out, whether or not everybody's going to die, because that's just not going to happen, right? Like 1,000 of you could get it, but only a small percentage of you are going to die. And the ones that die, those of you that die are unfortunately going to be those who are like 85 years old, 80 years old, stuff like that. Okay, so anyway, here's another piece here. I want to just share some more stuff with you in terms of what's going on in the economy. So bottom line, as far as the stimulus checks, I love that advice of paying off high interest debt. I think that's a great way to get an easy return on your investment. I think the emergency fund is important. You have to really think carefully about your financial security. Security. When times are good, you always want to obsess yourself with what happens if times get bad. When times are good, that's when you prepare for when times are bad. You don't wait until times get bad to react to times being bad. You react to times being bad while times are good, because that's when you have the extra resources that can allow you to prepare. Like when I used to work at Taco Bell in high school, one of the things that would happen is on Friday nights, we would get body slammed, just super busy, cars backed up in the drive-through all the way back, bunch of drunk people coming through. It was crazy, right? Just like tacos just flying everywhere, right? So what would happen is in the afternoon, everything would be calm and cool. Nobody, no customers, no nothing. Well, that's the time where we would be on panic mode. We'd be like, okay, we got to make 20 pounds of more meat. We got to cook up. Blah, blah, blah. So we'd have everything ready so that when the storm comes, we were prepared, right? And so the thing is, financial security is the same way. When times are calm and the money is good, that's when you prepare for when times are going to be bad, because at some point, things are going to fall apart. At some point, markets are going to crash. At some point, you will lose that job. At some point, an income stream will be disrupted. At some point, a financial emergency is going to hit you upside the head. At some point, the blue skies are going to turn dark, right? So what I would say to you is just be extremely careful and thoughtful about sort of, how you're thinking about your financial security. And the reason that's important is because I don't think that we do a lot of what if analysis in our families. So if that was the case, then I wouldn't have, I'll tell you what, not long ago, I had a buddy that went to a funeral, and he said, man, it was terrible because, my great uncle had to come in and pay $5,000 to cover the cost of the funeral at the last minute because the person that died borrowed off of the insurance policy and took the money out of the policy. So there's no insurance policy to pay for the funeral. So ultimately, you have to think about these things. You've got to prepare for the rainy days, right? So everybody type rainy days in the chat. Type rainy days. Like we're going to think ahead. You got to be proactive. Proactive. That's another word. You can type proactive as opposed to reactive. You're trained to be reactive, because I believe that Black culture, in terms of the part of our culture, the slave culture that we got to extract, is this sort of very reactive victim kind of mindset, like, oh, woe is me, Lord Jesus, help me, because things went bad and I don't know how I'm going to make it through the storm. Well, I'm sorry, but proactive people don't have to do that. Proactive people are prepared for the storm before the storm gets there. So be proactive, not reactive. That's what makes you a better investor. Much of investing is about mindset. Have the mindset of an investor. Somebody asked, where can you get that shirt that had Democrat, Republican, Black? Yeah, I had a shirt on that said Democrat box wasn't checked, the Republican box wasn't checked, but the Black box was checked because I'm Black. I'm black, bliggity black all the time. I ain't trying to be nothing else. I think if you go to wokeblacktees.com, WOKE, wokeblacktees.com, somebody type that in, wokeblacktees.com. You can go there and you can check out a lot of shirts and apparel that we have. I don't mention it much, but yeah, we do have a lot of shirts. And this is not my shirt though. This is a shirt Damon Dash gave me, back when we were working together on Intelligent Boss Moves. And I was just like it. I think it's a great shirt. So anyway, how's the stock market doing? Some of you were asking that. The market appears to be mixed today. I don't think that it's making a lot of crazy moves today. The big dynamic with the market is that there's a tug of war. There's kind of a back and forth going on between investors that really have these optimistic expectations, that really want the market to win. They want it to roar back. They want good news, and they want to believe everything that comes out as far as information has a positive connotation. But then you got this little nagging thing called the virus, just kind of nagging, right? Every day the headline is record number of new cases, record number of new cases, record number of new cases. And it doesn't mean that that's not relevant information, but what's happening is the market, in fact, the market is a little bit like my girls in the house, right? We got a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, and sometimes the 13-year-old is trying to do something, and the 10-year-old is like constantly trying to like get her attention and follow her around, and she's like, stop, get off me, and I think the market's kind of doing that with the virus, like stop, get off me, like the market wants to move forward, despite this bad news. But the bad news is it's bad enough that you have to pay attention. You have to constantly watch the numbers to just see like, okay, what can this do? And what they're worried about is more so just related to what's going to happen. What's our reaction going to be, right? If the numbers got too bad and out of control and the headlines got too scary, then now you're talking about potential government shutdowns. And there's bad leadership right now in that the Trump White House is not in